Okay, we'll call our meeting to order and begin with the superintendent's report.
Well, thank you, Skip. It's great to see all of you here tonight, and I want to say welcome to everyone watching our live stream as well. Very excited to be at the high school tonight. Thanks, Mr. Brush. Thanks, Mr. Hawkins, to honor more members of the class of 2024. Very exciting. Before we get started tonight, the last 2 weeks, we've spent a lot of time appreciating our staff, our amazing Vicksburg Community Schools staff, all our departments. I'd like to take a moment and ask for a round of applause for our amazing employees of Vicksburg Community Schools.
Here, here.
The effort they put in and day out does not go unnoticed, so thank you very much. They are very appreciated. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Vicksburg High School Principal, Mr. Adam Brush. He's going to introduce the Kalamazoo County Career and Technical Outstanding Seniors Award winners from Vicksburg High School, as well as we have another summa cum laude in attendance tonight that will be introduced. So, Mr. Brush.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill, Vicksburg School Board, for allowing me to recognize these outstanding seniors. Tonight, we have the privilege of recognizing the YWCA Woman of Achievement, the DAR Good Citizen of the Year, and the Principal Leadership Award winner. Additionally, we will celebrate the remarkable achievements of our 2024 outstanding seniors, all of whom were recognized last month at the Radisson for the CTE Outstanding Breakfast. First award, YWCA Women of Achievement. I'm excited to introduce the YWCA Women of Achievement Award winner. The YWCA Women of Achievement Award celebrates the outstanding contributions of women in our community who demonstrate leadership and service to the community. This year's recipient, Clara Senafani. Now we have 2 mics, one for the stream and one for everybody to hear. So you probably remember Clara. She was here last month as a member of our summa cum laude. She's president of NHS. She is a CAMSI Medallion Award winner. She received an award for outstanding CAMSI research. Tell us about your research at CAMSI.
Yeah, so every year at CAMSI, we're required to do an independent research project. And 2 out of my 3 years so far of research, I've received outstanding research awards. And my favorite one that I did was last year, in my junior year. I had a team, and we were able to launch a high-altitude weather balloon. And we took recordings of all different things into the stratosphere, but the coolest part was that we were recording from 3 different perspectives and got images of the Earth's curvature. So that was just a really unique experience and one that I was grateful to have.
So it's not flat, is that what you're telling me?
No.
You also have a 4.4 GPA. You find time to backpack, hike, kayak, read, and cook. You've also been a middle school robotics team counselor and a STEM camp counselor. Tell us about those experiences.
Yeah, so last summer I volunteered as a mentor for the robotics STEM camp. The Vicksburg robotics program I've been involved in for 7 years, so since the beginning of middle school, and I absolutely love it. It was really cool to give back and pass on some of my knowledge to the younger generation and share their excitement. It reminded me of how excited I was when I first started and the interest that it sparked in me to pursue engineering as well.
So, valedictorian of the class of 2024, what are your plans for next school year?
Yep, so next year I'm going to be attending Michigan Technological University to study chemical engineering with a minor in sustainability technology.
And who's with you here tonight?
My mom and my dad.
Congratulations, Claire. Okay, now I get to introduce the DAR Good Citizen of the Year and the Principal Leadership Award winner. Each year, the Daughters of the American Revolution sponsor the DAR Good Citizenship Award. A senior is selected by his or her classmates and faculty for this award. The criteria for the award are dependability, service, leadership, and patriotism. We also have the Principal Leadership Award winner. It'll be awarded to a graduating senior who demonstrates commitment to making VHS a better place, demonstrates outstanding school spirit, demonstrates high character and integrity on a daily basis. This year's Principal Leadership and Dar Good Citizen of the Year Award are Megan Burke. It's a trifecta because you are also a K-RISA Foundation Scholarship recipient. So 3 awards this evening. Megan is a 4-year academic award winner, a state qualifier in DECA, and a member of AIM Higher. Tell us about AIM Higher.
Yeah, so AIM Higher is one of Vicksburg's community service groups. We've done various things like feeding and cooking for the homeless in Kalamazoo. We've hosted Vicksburg's Christmas drive. We were supposed to host the dog wash this year, but the cold weather, unfortunately, did not allow that to happen. Prom Possible, if you saw anything about Prom Possible, Vicksburg's AIM Higher is the one that hosted that. So.
You also captain of the equestrian team, 4-H club president, and you're a vet science student. Tell us about your internship at Vet Science.
Yeah, so this year for my vet science class, the second semester, I got to spend doing hands-on stuff out in the work field. I was interning at Allen Equine Veterinary Service, where so on Mondays and Tuesdays, I got to spend basically half of my day traveling with them, basically around the county, doing vet work with them and getting hands-on experience, which was really cool.
What scholarship did you win?
I got the K-RISA employee, child of an employee scholarship.
And what are your plans for next year?
Next year, I am attending the University of Kentucky on the track for accounting.
Nice. And who's with you here tonight?
My mom, my dad, and my grandma.
Awesome. Megan Burke. Our next outstanding CTE award winner is Adele Booter. So Adele is FFA Vice President, Marching Band Section Leader, and has competed at the HOSA State Championships. She also was selected as an outstanding senior by Dr. Noreen Hikus for her work in CTE Vet Science. What do you like best about Vet Science?
What I like about vet science is you're really hands-on with the class. We get to do a lot of things that handle animals like you wouldn't with any other high school class. You know, in math you're sitting there writing things down, but in vet sci you actually get to do things. You know, our second semester, like Megan said, we get to do an internship and go out and work with all the other animals and veterinarians.
So you mentioned your internship. You were at Beetle Lake Large Animal Clinic. What did you get to do there?
I got to work with the vets on staff as an assistant. I got to help out scrub. I've gotten to draw blood and a bunch of different things. I've gotten to go on farm calls with them, either emergency or not emergency, and just see a bunch of different things.
What are your plans for the fall?
I'm going to go to Ferris State University and major in biological sciences and do their pre-vet program.
And who's with you here tonight?
My mother and my father.
Congratulations. Next up, Connor DeVries. So Connor is a member of the varsity baseball team, scored a 1240 on your SAT, a couple points higher than me. You earned, notice how they all laugh. I don't know how to take that. Also earned Best in Show at the WMU Innovation Expo. Tell us about that.
This year I won the Best at Show for the Western Michigan Innovation Expo, and my team created a humanoid robot that was capable of seeing and facial detection and then movements through servos, and we 3D printed the model, completely 3D printed and put it together and showed it off, and they seemed to like it.
Yeah, obviously, right? Awesome. You were selected by Mr. Greg Mills for your work in CTE computerized manufacturing. What do you like best about computerized manufacturing?
I like the projects that we do. He usually gives us assignments or tasks, and a lot of them correspond to real-world applications. So we get to innovate and create new designs for solutions that haven't been thought of before.
Awesome. And what scholarship did you win? That's why I have this. Can we look at it together?
Yeah, we'll look at it together. Look for my name, right there. Perfect. The Kalamazoo Valley Community College Scholarship.
And your plans for the fall?
To go to Kalamazoo Valley Community College and pursue an education in computer science and electrical engineering.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight?
My mom, my dad, and my girlfriend.
Awesome. Connor DeVries. All right, our next outstanding senior, Dakota Dragovich. All right, so Dakota's a member of the robotics team, enjoys mountain biking and playing the guitar. He also volunteers at his church. What do you do at your church?
I was actually looking here at your sound system day. That's what we do there. We run the sound and the video system for church and make sure it's all running smoothly for microphones and things like this.
No backfeed? No. Awesome. You were selected by Scott Wills for CTE Work-Based Learning. Tell us about that.
Well, Mr. Wills, 2 years ago, I did his online class for credit in school. And this year, I took a CTE horticulture class, which ties into what I do for my dad here. But I work for him. Our company is called Arnhem Drag Welding and Fabrication. And we do welding and fabrication. A lot of it involves welding for farmers that break stuff. So it ties into the horticulture part. So it's really great. I'm happy that school allows us to have a program like that to be able to work before you get out in the real world.
That's awesome. What scholarship did you win?
I won the Linda Powell World of Work Scholarship. So that scholarship is actually just for tools and anything specific for work.
Awesome. And what are your plans?
I would like to continue working for Arnhem Drag and pursuing my career in fabrication.
And who's with you here tonight?
My parents and my bosses.
Hey, congratulations. Our next outstanding senior, Andrew Habel. So Drew is a 4-year academic award winner. No comments from Hawkins. 3.95 GPA, fantastic. Varsity baseball and football player, and a member of NHS. You also enjoy playing travel baseball. What's been your best experience in travel baseball?
Just getting the opportunity to meet a lot of cool people and just travel around the country and playing in different places.
Do you have a favorite place you played?
Probably Cooperstown, New York.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. You were selected by Mr. McDonald for marketing. What did you like best about his marketing class?
I just like that it gives students the opportunity to see if marketing is something they're interested in going into, and just very specific stuff that you're learning that can benefit you down the road.
And what scholarship did you win, Drew?
I won the Burdick Thorne Foundation Scholarship.
And your plans for the fall?
I'm going to go to K College, study business, and play baseball.
Nice. And who's with you here tonight?
My mom.
Congratulations. Trenton Harp is our next CTE Outstanding Senior. So Trenton is FFA president. He also earned his FFA state degree. Tell us about that.
My FFA state degree was an award awarded by the FFA, or Future Farmers of America. It is the second highest degree you can earn, just below the American degree, which requires me to graduate first before I can even get that one.
You also were instrumental in maintaining the community garden right next to the greenhouse. And then you also restarted a connection with FFA at the middle school. You were selected as an outstanding senior by Laura Heyman from horticulture. What did you like best about your CTE horticulture class?
Well, I believe the best class is a crazy class, because in that class, sometimes trying to grow something that doesn't want to grow can lead to many problems that you find along the way that you'll never be prepared for, and something you have to find solutions for along the way. a class that truly teaches you that life will throw a curveball, and especially in this field, it shows you what it can really become.
What scholarship did you win?
I won the Kalamazoo County Retired Teachers Award.
Awesome. And what are your plans for the fall?
My plans for the fall is I hope to go to Glen Oaks for 2 years and then go back up to MSU for the IAT program and graduate with a bachelor's in agriculture so I can be a teacher.
Awesome. Isn't that great? Yeah. And who's with you here tonight?
With me today is my dad, my mom, and my sister.
Congratulations. Next up, Grayson Lewis. So Grayson is a member of the Big Red Machine, the ski team, and DECA. He also improved his GPA by over 1.5 points since his freshman year. How did you do that?
Well, I've been given a lot of opportunities, such as through the YMCA Camp Eberhart and DECA, that have given me like the tools to want to succeed in my life, and that has made me want to turn around my GPA. It's gone from, I think I had a 1.8 in my sophomore year, and then now it's going to be a 2.7, and I'm going to graduate.
Yeah, and that's cumulative.
Awesome.
You've been getting way higher than that.
Yeah, I had like a 3.6 and a 3.8 in my junior semester.
So you mentioned YMCA Eberhart. Tell us about what you do there.
Well, I started off, I got an opportunity to go through my grandma, who is the nurse there, or was the nurse there, to go for free. And I was like, sure, I guess I'll go. And then 1 week turned into 2, 2 weeks turned into 4, 4 weeks turned into a whole summer, and then I'm coming back this year to be a camp counselor. And I just never thought it would bloom into something like this because, you know, it's like the butterfly effect. Like, you just never know what will happen.
Great response. You are also recognized an outstanding senior for your work in informational technology. What did you like best about that class?
Well, it gave me like a window into a career that I didn't think I would necessarily go into. And as well as I'm not really gonna go into that career, but I know that if I fail in the career that I wanna go into, that's something I could fall back on. And it's good to have something that you can fall back on.
What scholarship did you win?
The Burdick Thorne Foundation.
Awesome. And what are your plans for the fall?
I'm going to Grand Valley State University to study pharmacology with hopes to pursue pharmaceutical research.
And who's with you here tonight?
My mom and my grandma.
Next up, Colin Schramer. So Colin is a member of the varsity tennis and golf teams. He's also a member of NHS and has a 4.1 GPA. You also earned your Global Seal by Literacy. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I earned my Global Seal by Literacy while taking my AP Spanish class. All the students in that class got the opportunity to take the exam, and most of us got the Global Seal while some of us got like the higher seal, which was the Michigan Seal, which I wasn't able to get, sadly.
So how fluent are you in Spanish?
Not very fluent.
Not very.
No.
You also are a line cook at Indian Run. What is so great about being a line cook at Indian Run?
So I'm on the varsity golf team, so I obviously really like golf. And being able to work as a line cook has allowed me to have free golf. So I would usually get there like an hour before my shift, and I would just go to the range and just hit golf balls.
You hired for the summer?
Uh,
You need a job, right?
yeah, maybe.
What do you like best about your CTE program?
So I started this year not really knowing where to go for college and like what I was gonna major in. So I decided to try and take like accounting and marketing to see if I liked business. And when I took accounting, I was really able to like grasp what was being taught, and I was able to, it was a really great class. I understood everything, and I'm ready to take it for the future.
Awesome. What are your plans? What scholarship did you win?
I won the Kalamazoo Career Connect Scholarship.
And what are your plans for the fall?
I plan to go to Western Michigan and study accounting and maybe minor in Spanish or some type of business management.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight, Con?
My mom and my dad.
Awesome, Con. Great. Congratulations. Next up, Peyton Smith. So Peyton is a four-year academic award winner with a 3.9 GPA, also a member of the varsity softball and golf teams. Last year, you had quite a run in softball. Tell us about that experience.
Going to state was a great experience to play some more high-level ball. It was also a great experience to hang out with my teammates. They were a great team, and I loved making those friendships last year.
Peyton, you also volunteer for youth sport camps. You love to dog sit, and you love to help the elderly. What do you like best about sports camps and volunteering?
I have learned through my job that I love hanging out with children, so being able to help and hang out with the little kids is a great experience.
What are your plans for next fall?
I plan to attend Concordia University and study psychology and also play softball.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight, Peyton?
My mom and my dad.
Congratulations, Peyton. All right, last but not least, Reed Tassel, last outstanding senior for 2024. So, Reed, you're a four-year academic award winner, 4.0 GPA. You play football and you play defense for lacrosse. What do you like best about lacrosse?
I really like how fast-paced it is, and there's a lot of teamwork involved with it. And just being part of a great team is one of the best things you can do, I think.
You also enjoy mountain biking, flight simulations, and 3D printing. You were selected as an outstanding senior by Greg Mills for your work in computerized manufacturing. What did you like best about your CTE class?
I really like the experience you can get with multi-$1,000 machines that you'd never have any opportunity to work with usually outside of a workplace, but you can go in there, pick your own projects, do whatever you want, really.
Awesome. What are your plans for the fall, Reed?
I'll be going to Western Michigan University for mechanical engineering.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight?
My parents.
Awesome. Reed Tassel. So, class of 2024, outstanding seniors. They've only got, like, how many days left, guys? Three. 3 days. We've got, the fire trucks are ready Thursday, so anybody that's coming into the stadium parking lot, just wear a
I'm
raincoat.
just going to warn Mr. Hawkins, Mr. Brush, Mr. Roy, we don't need any workman's comp claims. So when you guys are out there, you better be safe.
We're a little more athletic than the
All
middle
right,
school.
seniors, don't go after them.
And if you do want to come watch, don't go into the parking lot. I made that mistake last year. I just want to tell you all how proud we are of you, not only the students, but the parents too. And I enjoyed looking at the parents' faces as their child was being introduced. You should be very proud. This is a meeting that we on the board always look forward to. I couldn't wait till this evening to be able to host you here and hear all the good things. You guys, I don't know how you do it. You're all not just involved in school, but you're involved in a lot of other things, and you really are to be commended for that and for being able to stay on task on one thing, but still be a part of life. And I think that's great. And you know, we hear all the things that are on the news and everything else, but as I've seen our seniors this year, there's hope because we've got you all coming up. And help us get it fixed, okay? And we look forward to watching what you're doing and your successes and everything else. And, you know, I just give you a little pitch. Don't be afraid to communicate with Mr. Brush and let us know how you're doing 1, 2, 3 years out. It's always great to hear those things and hear about the successes and the things that you do. We don't tend to hear that as much as we would like to hear it. So our congratulations to you. So.
Yeah, looking forward to next Thursday, as all of you are when we get to the big day, the graduation day. At this time, we're going to continue on with the meeting, but we want to give you the opportunity to leave if you'd like to, or you can stay. So we're going to take a couple-minute break, and then
Seniors, we're going to take your picture.
seniors are going to take a picture. Okay, we're at Mr. Brush? All right, seniors, follow Mr. All right, I'm going to continue on with my report, and starting out with the legislative report. Just a couple of things. The budget dominates all talks in Lansing, and that's going to continue. Just a reminder, and I know Steve and I will be watching this very carefully, this Friday, May 17th, is the May Consensus Revenue Estimating Conference. And again, that will provide the numbers, more concrete numbers that the House, Senate, and Governor Whitmer will be using to finalize the budget, and hopefully we'll have that by July 1st. So again, stay tuned with that. Unfortunately, the reports from January and what we're hearing, the May numbers may be a little lower than what they projected in January. I hope not, but stay tuned. That's kind of what we're hearing prior to the conference, again, this Friday. If you need more details, please check out the School Equity Caucus in your packet. It's very, very long this month. Plenty of information in there if you're interested. Just wanted to touch on a few bills that have been introduced. Some are in committee, some are bouncing around the Senate and the House floors. Senate bills 741, 742, 743. This has been heavily talked about amongst the state associations in education. They were proposed to require schools to establish a library in every school by the school year 25-26, staff those libraries with certified librarians, and require a principal or administrator to assign or designate an individual to be present when a librarian cannot be there. While associations wholeheartedly support this legislation, the problem that we're going to fight is finding enough certified people for those positions, as well as the amount of money that some districts will have to put in to build new libraries within their schools. So stay tuned on that. Again, that's on the floor as we speak. I should know more on these bills probably within the next couple months. Also, I just wanted another one that just popped up that's very interesting, House Bill 5649. That's been proposed that would require all high schools to offer a course in computer science. We already do offer a course in computer science here at the high school, but it's not the norm across the state. So that could be a requirement moving forward. They have not said whether that will be a graduation requirement. As of now, that's not part of that bill that was proposed. So I'll definitely keep you posted as those bills move through committee. Exciting time of the year. I'd like to draw your attention to the important dates in your packet. We have lots and lots of celebrations coming up. Starting this week, we have the Spring Band Concert on the 14th. Very excited for the Sunset Lake Leader in Me Day, which will be May 15th at 9:30. Hopefully you can stop by Sunset for those festivities. And then we have the annual choir cabaret this weekend, Friday and Saturday, or excuse me, Saturday and Sunday in the PAC, and then some other band concerts as well. And then, of course, graduation next Thursday in the stadium at 7 o'clock. And then the first week in June we highlighted here because we have all the 5th grade graduations that'll happen. And then the last day of school will be June 7th, which will be a half day. And I believe we're under 4 weeks left in this school year. Hard to believe.
Jeez.
So with that, Skip, that's my report.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. We'll go on to reports and public inquiry, budget and finance report. Steve?
Okay, I've got a number of things to report on this evening. I plan to move through them pretty quickly, though. However, don't hesitate to stop me if you have any questions or comments. First item on the agenda for me would be the monthly budget progress report for the general fund, and this includes activity through the end of April. Again, I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. Revenue on a year-to-date basis, just under 26 million. Or about 70% of the initial budget. On the expenditure side, instructional expenditures stand at 14,450,000, or about 67% of the initial budget. Support services, there's a breakdown there. Year to date, those total 10,013,000, or about 75%. And then finally, we've got athletics and community services, to round out total expenditures on a year-to-date basis of $25,619,350. Second page of the report breaks expenditures down by object code, and you'll see that salaries and benefits, year-to-date, salaries stand at $11,666,000, benefits at $8,945,000. So total compensation is just over 20.6 million. And then below that, you can see the breakdown for purchase services, supplies, capital outlay, and other. So again, that total is $25,619,350. And I'll make a few comments about the budget, a few items down. I've got an item to talk about that coming up. Any questions on that report?
We're still like tracking ahead of last year's.
Yes.
That gap hasn't closed yet.
No. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, but I would expect both revenues and expenditures to increase through the budget amendment. It's, when you look at some of the percentages, it can be a little bit, there are some timing factors that make it a little bit more complicated. One is that on the benefit side, last year, there was a one-time, almost $1.6 million appropriation for MIPSers. That was just a straight pass-through. That expenditure didn't get posted until the end of the year. So when you look at, where we're at on a year-to-date basis, especially for benefits, it looks like we're about 10% ahead of where we were at this time last year. But, 1.6 million is, that was worth over 10% last year. So if you back that out, benefits are a lot closer, but I do expect both revenues and expenditures to see a pretty significant revision upwards. All right, other questions on that? All right, if not, second item would be the investment portfolio, and we continue to do well there. We currently have in school districts funds invested from the general fund, our debt retirement funds, and the 2022 building and site fund. You can see there that the 2022 building and site fund list of investments continues to get shorter each month as we have treasury securities that are maturing. We continue to do very well on interest rates. We currently are, on our liquid funds, are receiving anywhere from 5.17 to 5.33%. All right, and so I know we've talked about interest rates quite a bit. I think we probably all look forward to those rates starting to come down, and it still sounds like they should start, the Fed should start to take action this year. But I think earlier in the year, they were projecting 6 rate cuts, and now, some experts are projecting 2. So that's, but from our standpoint, that's a good thing as we continue to generate as much investment income as we can. All right, last comment, and I'll be talking about the 2024 Series 3 bonds next, but we do have the account opened and ready to receive those funds. And, that closing will be on May 29th. All right, so we'll continue to maximize our yield everywhere we can. All right, any questions on the investment report?
I just really appreciate sort of the format that we've been able to, in a very predictable way, address all of our building needs and really be deliberate about it because of the way that you've put these bond issues together, and then to maximize, taxpayer dollars so we'd make it go a little bit farther. And I think that showed a lot of foresight and good planning, and thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And of course, we'll be talking, we're just in the process of issuing the 2024 bonds. And of course, those were approved by voters back in 2020. And so theoretically, the plan that I would like to recommend that we've been talking about is that we'll be going back to the voters in 2026. We're already in conversations with our architects and construction manager, and we'll start talking a lot more, likely this fall, about an updated facility assessment, which we used prior to the 2020 bonds, updating that, getting more feedback, and, planning for that next round. So the hope is that we're able to continue to fund those needs on a going forward basis. All right, so thank you, Dave, I appreciate your comment. Other questions on the investment side? All right, if not, then speaking of the 2024 bonds, we received bids on May 2nd, and a few things I'd like to point out on that. We received a total of 10 bids, which, we've done a lot of borrowing, and I'm trying to, when I think back through our recent history, that's a pretty significant number of bids. Everybody on the conference call, emphasized that was a solid number of bids, and I think what it does is it really can give us reassurance that we were, went out to the market and we got the best rate that the market was willing to offer. And so the true or net interest cost on those bonds is 4.064972%, which, that's higher certainly than some of the borrowings that we've had in recent years, but that's a reflection of the interest rate market. A couple things I'd point out. We did receive an upgrade in our bond rating. So the district had been rated at A by Standard & Poor's, and we received an upgrade to A+. And so that, that is a positive, of course, because we participate in the school bond loan fund through the state of Michigan. We also have access to the state's rating, which is a AA. So between those things, I think that helped in the bid situation. And, again, the 4.06% is higher than we've had, but I think you can really see the value of that tax exemption because, these are bonds, some of these bonds are going to go out 20 years. And, you think about what we receive in just our liquid municipal investment fund through MyLAF, and that's currently 5.17 to 5.33%. So right out of the gate, we may have some, positive arbitrage, and that's a good thing. So we'll keep everybody posted on that. Construction proceeds came in slightly higher than originally budgeted by about $85,000. And yeah, there's a resolution required to pass tonight, which would ratify and accept the bid from UBS Securities, and that's included in the packet. All right, are there any questions on that? All right, next up is it's that time of year where as a provision in state law that I think dates back to 2004, local school boards are required to adopt a resolution to either support or offer suggestions or feedback to the ISD, or in our case, the RESA, which is K-RESA, with regard to their general education budget. And so the packet is included in The memo from KRESA, along with the resolution, is included in the board packet. KRESA gives all the, I believe, superintendents, but as well with the school business officials, an opportunity to review the budget. They, offer a presentation and answer questions about it. I won't go into any details, other than to say it's required by law. We have a great relationship with KRESA, a lot of respect and trust there. But, from my perspective, I trust them to manage their affairs. I appreciate the opportunity to learn about their budget and ask questions, but at the end of the day, I really don't see any concerns with it. And so it would be my recommendation that the board pass a resolution supporting that. All right? Any questions on that? All right, and then finally, it's Carol's favorite time of year. I know she looks forward to the annual budget hearing and presentation, and I'm trying to, Ron, I'm not sure if you've sat through it once, right? All right, so you'll be a pro at it, and I'm sure you'll look forward to it too. So I'd like to set June 10th, next board meeting, as the opportunity to do that, and we'll talk about the amendment to the current year. Again, I expect both revenues and expenditures will be revised upward. I think, the district is still in good financial position, as evidenced by the bond rating upgrade. But as we've also talked about, it's with federal COVID funds running out, and the economy not generating quite as much revenue, it's going to get a little bit more challenging, but obviously we'll rise to that challenge and maintain a strong fiscal position. So June 10th, stock up on caffeine and.
I think I'm gonna be on vacation.
It's not
Yep.
that bad, Steve.
I mean,
We just like to have
I appreciate
fun
that,
with it.
but it's. He likes that fun. It's accounting, so. But I do look forward to it, and I value that opportunity to go through things in detail and answer questions, so. That's it for me.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, Transportation Annual Report, and I think they're getting the computer up and going. No, I think I can see it. And here's Karen.
Well, I felt that was really important. I know that's kind of been my theme, but if ever we've had a magic school bus year, it's been this year. So I just want to thank you all for the privilege to be here tonight to share about my team and highlight them, because they're here every day and they've done amazing, magical things this year. We've actually had a couple drivers off for a long extended period, and we still covered our routes. So I'm very thankful and proud to say that we have successfully taken our kids to and from school every day and not had to cancel any routes, which you hear that a lot of other districts. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit what's going on. This week just happens to be National Safety Week. This whole weekend on Wednesday, we're going to be performing our last required evacuation drill. It'll be a combo drill, so heads up, principals. It'll be Wednesday morning. It doesn't usually take too long. We get in and out of there and get that done so our kids can know how to exit the bus if it was necessary. And we hope that to never be necessary. Why is this not coming down here? There we go. So just a reminder, that the school bus is one of the safest vehicles. And I encourage parents to put their kids on a bus because they're always safer there. Less than 1% of all traffic fatalities involve children on a school bus. However, the children are more at risk on the outside of the bus when they're leaving or coming to the bus. And so the buses are the most regulated vehicles on the road. They're built to keep our kids safe. So this is one of the things that has led me to start our bus safety carnival. It has become very popular. Our kids love it. I get asked all the time, when is the safety carnival? First thing, I have a lot of questions when we go to kindergarten roundup. So these are a few shots from last year's 3rd annual safety carnival. So we always work on the evacuation drill. So we want the parents, the goal here is for the parents and the children to learn. We're talking about really young children, and as we all know as teachers and parents, we have to remind them several times. So our goal was to make sure the parents understand why we do what we do, why we do these evacuations. And the kids just love climbing out the back of the bus, as you can see. But we had a really good turnout again. I think we had just under 200 students that showed up. They have opportunities to learn how to ride the bus. Parents, it's the only time the parents can ride the bus with them, except if they're on a field trip. And then they also learned how to cross properly. Not all children cross, and we try not to cross the little ones if it's at all possible, but we always want them to learn how to do it safely. So it's a great time. They love it. We had a lot of fun with our dunk tank, and all the PTOs came, and that was wonderful. They provide games and prizes for the kids. It just made it a lot of fun. So it was a great turnout. It's just important our families know what the message is and how to keep their children safe. So these are just a couple shots of what we do here. So mark your calendars. This summer, August 15th, will be our 4th annual school bus safety. So hope you can come by and take a look at it. It's a lot of fun
It'll
to
be
see
here
all the
before we
laughter.
know it.
Yes, it's crazy to think. Yes, it will. So this year, we got to participate in a bus rodeo again. I was privileged to judge at the Region 8 bus rodeo. It was held in Hudsonville this year. I had 2 drivers, one of them that went last year and then a brand new driver went. And Haley Laffler was a repeat. She went last year and she was the 14th out of 55 contestants. Wow. You know, we didn't practice. We don't have time or the materials to practice, so it was pretty exciting. And I'm pretty excited to report that we are almost positive. We are going to have our own Region 14 rodeo next year. We're in the planning stages. We're going to join with Region 15, which is more like the West Side Van Buren ISD, and we're going to join together to provide one down in our area. So hopefully we can get a lot more participants. It's such a great opportunity to brush up on our skills, have a little fun competition, and just practice what we do to make sure, again, you know, to keep our kids safe and keep honing on our strengths and making us stronger. So this is Haley, and that's Lynn. Lynn is one of our new bus drivers. I have a, okay, where are you? Let me see. Why can't I find my, here we go, I think I found it, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to find my cursor, there we go. So we had a big project this summer. We actually had our old fuel tanks removed from the ground. There was a couple of reasons that kind of triggered this idea. Well, one thing, those tanks were outdated and they were failing us, and there weren't replacements, or it was going to be very, very costly. The tanks have been in the ground somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 to 40 years. And, you know, we wanted to make sure there was no contamination. And so, and of course, maybe in the future, if by chance our transportation department moves, it's going to have to be done anyway. So it's kind of like a preliminary, you know, be proactive act. So it was a big project. They really finished it in 2 weeks, and we were thankful to find that there was very minimal contamination. But it was quite the project. We got to watch all the equipment come in, and that's what those tanks look like. You don't usually see those. But, so we were thankful to have that done. Now we actually have above-ground tanks that are working really well. Crystal Flash just comes in and keeps them full for us. So this is a shot here I've been wanting to show you for a long time, but this is a camera view. We do try to catch people. We don't want to catch people run red lights, but when they do, we want there to be consequences. And so with our cameras on the sidearm there, this is a view of a car, and you can see our stop arm is out. So in a court of law, this would be like, you know, you can't deny this. We can actually read the plate. On the second picture over here, you can see the car, but then at the top, you can see how we were able to zoom in on it. It was hard to kind of give you guys a visual, but I just thought it'd be fun for you to see what it looks like. And we have I would say we probably have had 22 successful pictures of license plates that have been reported. It's probably only a third of the red light violators, but it's the beginning. It's getting the message out. Just sometimes it's really hard to get the plate, and sometimes we have witnesses that call and say, hey, I saw them run it, and they can give me license plate numbers, so that's very helpful too. So if we don't have a picture, having a witness there helps in the courts when that's happening. I don't know why I keep running into this problem here. There we go.
Mr. Brush?
Well, here we go.
That was Matt's car.
You know, I was trying to be really nice. We blacked out that license plate number, so it is unknown who was there. Or, oh my goodness. Did you move that? Did you move that? I don't know. No, oh, you can go move it. We're good with this one. So here's just a report of our mileage. Now this is a report as of the end of April. And so last year, I gave you the report at the end of May, so we're a little bit shy. We've got 208,000 of regular miles for regular ed and 71,000 of special ed, with a grand total of 279,000. Last year, our total was 335, so I think we're going to be a little shy this year. But we've got a lot of trips coming up this month. Does anybody know why this keeps going out on me? So, and then our gasoline there, we're starting to see the transition of using more gasoline versus diesel. And after we get our new buses in the air, this summer, we'll actually see that even greater. But because we'll be, obviously, all of our buses, except one, will be gasoline. I don't know what's going on. I bet you the mouse needs a battery. So our athletic events miles, we've traveled so far as of the end of April, 14,050 miles. Field trips, 5,000, but we have a lot of field trips coming up in the next 3 weeks. We've actually traveled 1,800 miles to the OEC, so that's kind of a neat thing. Just to kind of track that, and that's been very successful. And then our vans, we've traveled 19,461 miles this year so far. And we have, again, every day those vans are booked. And now that Pathway is starting to use it on Tuesdays too, so that's a pretty neat that we have that available to them. We'll see what my next slide is here. Can you just click them for me? Can you get it on?
Yeah, it's like asleep up there.
Hmm.
It's like the cable's bad.
Yeah, okay.
It's because you turned the lights on.
Yeah.
Can I just look at the computer and?
There you go.
There you go.
Oh,
Don't
look at
touch
that.
anything.
I don't know how far, yeah, okay. So yeah, we're done with this, we can go to the next page. Do you want to just click them for me? Yeah. So this is a picture of our new bus drivers. Lynn Conroy was the one that went to the rodeo. She came from Eaton County, was a bus driver there for 11 years. And then we have two girls that came from Constantine, so very experienced drivers. Miss Sarah in the back there is one of our Toby moms, and she is just wonderful. We love having her on the team. And that short guy in the back is Tim Schuring. Well, you'll see another picture of him. He is our new mechanic that has joined Bubba in the garage. And this, I think you might recognize this guy, maybe on the left, Alan Reynolds. I did not want to miss recognizing him. We, again, received a perfect inspection. And he's been carrying that for several years on his own, and we can't just give enough credit to him. And I'm thankful for Tim Schuring. He's come on board. He's a 2007 Vicksburg graduate. And so he's excited to be back at home in his school. But this is just his fun job, his his day job. He does so many other things. He has so much experience on heavy equipment, and I think he's going to be an excellent asset to the team. So Bubba is talking of passing on the baton, but so far he's still here with us. But he's been here 27 years working for Vicksburg Schools as a mechanic. So I just wanted to make sure.
And he's a Vicksburg
I
grad,
thanked
too.
him. He's a Vicksburg grad as well. All right. So when you've seen the banners around the school district, and we've successfully brought in 2 new candidates that will hopefully be training. Both of them are retired gentlemen, and so they're training and hopefully to be ready to start in the fall. So I guess that's all I have for tonight. If you have any questions or
This is just a curiosity question. I watched those big tanks come out.
Yeah.
And those small tanks that are above ground
Yeah.
go in. How often do they have to fill those?
They're here every other day.
Okay, I wondered. I
Yep.
figured it had to be.
You know, and we've just been having discussions about when we're actually running so many gasoline, it might be worth it to get a second 1,000-gallon tank. I'll talk with Crystal Flash about that, just to make it easier, but, I mean, they come in every other day, fill us up, so we never run out. That's really nice. So we try really hard to track those gallons, you know, it doesn't have, it's got a meter that we gotta constantly clear, and the driver's gotta document for us, but, you know, so it's just a challenge. And I don't wanna, also don't wanna forget Eric Reynolds, my assistant, and if you guys have ever talked to him, he's just amazing and such support and helpful to me. I didn't get a picture of him here today, but he's an asset to Vicksburg Schools for sure. All of our drivers are. We've had some challenges this year, and they have all stepped up and made sure things got covered. So I'm proud to call them my team.
Well, I know, Karen, we were able to come over and visit with your department and appreciate them, but thank you for the safety. This community just is so blessed with your department and how well you guys operate.
Thank you.
And so thank you. It's the least we can say.
We're so proud of the bus drivers. I mean, the courtesy that they show, you know, I think they're more cognizant of backed up traffic. Sometimes I get behind a bus from our neighbor to the north and stuff, and they tend to not care how many cars are behind them and everything else. And our drivers are so good about that. And they're so good, too. I mean, it's the things that I've had occasion to listen to the radio over the years, and I know I kind of sound like a broken record saying this, but they really do care. They do pay attention. If the right car's not in the driveway, they may not drop that kid off until they can make some contact to find out what's going on. And we're blessed to have you all.
Thank you, Skip. Thank you.
Okay, Sarah, the dairy bids from Cedar Crest Farms.
We put the dairy bid out again this year. In our area, there is only 2 milk companies who are delivering to schools, Prairie Farms and then Cedar Crest. And we've used Cedar Crest for probably the last 5 years. So my recommendation is that we go with them again. Their bid is a little bit less than what Prairie Farms is, so it's a win-win. But just a fun fact, I did do a little bit of research, and since 2021, since COVID, our milk price has gone up 55%. So it used to cost us 22 cents for a carton of milk, and it's now costing us
Jeez.
34 cents. So, yeah.
But there's no inflation.
No, none. That's all I have. Any questions?
Thanks, Sarah. Okay. Curriculum proposals, Gail. Must know.
Good evening. I'm very excited to bring forth to you for consideration and hopefully approval 3 resource proposals from the elementary level. I am extremely grateful to have teams of people from our course design review teams here tonight to present these proposals to you. I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy hearing from some of our teacher leaders. We're going to start with the BK proposal. And sharing with you tonight are Jenny Johnson, who is a BK teacher at Sunset Lake. Come on up. And Amy McLeish is our BK teacher Laura Chang is most comfortable just hanging out down there in the chair for support. But she was also instrumental in putting this proposal together. So Amy and Jenny.
Hello. So tonight, we bring before the board a proposal for a new curriculum for our BK students. We have, prior to choosing this one, we were using OWL, Opening the World of Learning, which was a comprehensive curriculum, including ELA, math, science, and social studies. However, Savas is discontinuing this curriculum, so we were put into the review process a little early. After many meetings and evaluations, we chose and went with a new curriculum called 3 Cheers. It meets all non-negotiables and required indicators in the Vicksburg IMET. 3 Cheers is also a comprehensive curriculum that includes ELA, math, science, and social studies, and it has a wide range of digital and traditional materials to use with the curriculum.
So for us, one of the big draws with the 3 Cheers is that it's kind of OWL 2.0. It is what is replacing OWL through Savas, and so that's kind of nice because it's something that's familiar to us and it has a lot of the staples that we already really enjoy with OWL. One of those is that it's got a really strong ELA foundation, lots of vocabulary introduced on a weekly basis, not just around the theme of the week, but also with the literacy components and the books that we're providing to the kids. As Amy mentioned, it also has some of that strong technology component, and this will help us to bring, kind of bridge that gap between families, between the school and the home. It'll help families get their hands on digital copies of the books they're reading in class, and just help kind of give them a better idea of ways to support their kiddos at home. Because it is a comprehensive curriculum, it supports the child in all domains. So we're looking at not just math, ELA, science, social studies, but also strong social emotional type of skills, and provides a lot of scaffolding. You know, as teachers, we're used to differentiating, but the nice thing about 3 Cheers is that it specifically gives us ideas about how to support kiddos and meet them where they're at and kind of help give them next steps. So those are all kind of really important factors for us. Other things, positive impacts that we anticipate from 3 Cheers are that it considers all skill domains. It's really rigorous and it's going to help promote kindergarten readiness, has a really high level of quality, and it's going to be less supplementing necessary on our part, specifically in the area of science and social studies. So although we do really enjoy some of the things about OWL that we have been practicing over the past few years, the science and social studies has definitely been lacking, and that's kind of given us some area where we've needed to supplement. We don't anticipate having to do that with 3 Cheers, so that's one of the things we're really looking forward to. Any questions? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
BK. Okay. Yep. So these ladies are just outstanding. I learned so much about that population we worked through. We had a lot of fun and played a lot. I mean, just talked about playing in the classroom, so it was very, very nice. Next up, we have K-5 math intervention with Amy Green, who is a math interventionist and our elementary math coordinator, Amy Stoffer, who is our MTSS coordinator at the elementary level and instructional coach, and Sherry Blau, who's a reading or math interventionist, reading, she didn't know, math interventionist at Indian Lake Elementary. So take the lead.
All right. Good evening. Thank you for having us here, for listening to us tonight. We wanted to share a little bit with you about what our proposal is in math intervention, and unlike BK, our program is not being discontinued. We are currently using Freckle Math, and prior to that it was Accelerated Math 2.0, and these are online programs that the kids come into intervention group and they just basically go on a Chromebook and they work at their level. We all sat down through the curriculum design review process and went through the process looking at data and talking about what we saw, the needs, what was missing from intervention. And we all strongly felt that we were missing direct instruction with these students who are struggling, who are scoring low with their math skills And so we took a look at what did we really want to see. And besides that, the programs we're currently using are not even ranked on Ed Reports as being high-quality evidence-based programs. So in either Tier 2, which is our intervention, or Tier 3, which is considered our special ed or ESI classrooms, they are currently using Connecting Math. That one was not, it was not rated as being a high-quality evidence-based program. So we dug in and we looked for some programs to look at, and after looking at 3 different ones using the IMET form that Vicksburg has, Bridges Intervention is the resource that we all agreed on, had superior ratings for criteria that met. It was exactly what we were looking for as far as it met our priority standards that we teach in math. There's a link in our proposal for those. We consider those the big rocks of math, so they are the nuggets that each grade level really needs to know to be successful in math, and Bridges closely aligns with those. It also aligns with our Eureka Math program, so a lot of the same models that the students are using in their core math in their classroom, they're going to hear the same vocabulary, the same models with Bridges. A lot of the, when they come to the classroom, the lessons are all 30 minutes long, which is exactly what we teach in intervention, is 30-minute blocks. So they come in and they would have 5-minute warm-up. They would then go in and have a hands-on. There's manipulatives. So they're not just zoned into a screen, they're actually having conversation with the vocabulary, seeing the models, working with them, and then there's an assessment at the end of each lesson. So we can see if the students are understanding or not. And we were super excited because there's progress monitoring, assessments built in every week. There's also summative assessments built in if the students are ready for the next unit. And on top of that, it is aligned with all our Common Core standards so that we'll know how to place them. So a lot of good, really good, exciting things that we saw as we went through this, and we were like, this definitely by far was the one that stood out. So not only was it superior, but it had everything we were looking for as far as the vocabulary and the models and placement tests and things like that. So, and it's also pencil paper, but there is an online component. So if we did want the students to practice or practice at home, that's available through Bridges, and it's free. There's no cost to that. If you have their materials, you know, if we purchase the program, we get that. So there's 9 volumes, and they're all by different levels, K-5, and it can be used in the intervention classroom. It can also be used in the special ed or the ESI classroom, and we really feel that it would be a good plus for our students in math intervention, and that we will see a lot of success because of how well it correlates with the classroom. Any questions?
Did too good a job.
And our third proposal for your consideration this evening is our K-5 ELA resource, assessment resource. And sharing that with you tonight are Michelle Wester, first grade teacher at Toby, and Kelly McDonald, third grade teacher at Toby.
Thank you, Gail, and thank you, everyone, for giving us time to speak on this. I think it's such an amazing thing to hear directly from the folks that are piloting it, and we're really happy with this process. So we are talking about the history of how we came to see you tonight. We entered into the ELA curriculum review process for grades K through 5 a little earlier than anticipated, because as you heard earlier with the BK presentation, our Savas platform is no longer going to support our current resource, ReadyGen. And, you know, a little bit of a problem. So we gathered together several teachers from the different grade levels, and we first put together a wish list of any and every program we'd ever heard someone we talked to in education was interested in. But looks can be deceiving. Something that a friend 2 communities over that they may like may not be a good fit for our district. So eventually, through the use of the ed reports, which are generated by fellow teachers, which is just a wonderful thing that they sit down and take the time to do that, and through our IMET process, which, you know, takes away any bias that we may have as we look at a resource, instead of actually digging through it and seeing how rigorous it is, we put forth 2 resources to explore a little bit more. One of them is My View, which we kind of joked was Savas 2.0, and unfortunately kind of its evil twin sister, to be honest. And it had some of the same problems that we had encountered with the writing program. Just a lack of general rigor in daily reading lessons, a lack of opportunities for students to respond with critical thinking, and that led us to our proposal for the magnetic ELA platform, or portfolio, excuse me. You'll find that it's hard to narrow down one name for this program, because each component in reading, writing, phonics, and each level kind of have their own terminology, so portfolio. So we embarked upon a 1 marking period pilot, 2 people per grade level, and met regularly to discuss our concerns, the things that we were really happy with. And surprisingly, we found that our list of non-negotiables and really pie-in-the-sky components that we would only dream of seeing were developing in our students rather quickly. We're having great success in many of the components, which we'll speak to a little bit more on the upper L and lower L level. Would you like to speak to lower L?
Sure. In the lower L program, as a first grade teacher, I had kids become so excited about some of the books we were using. One of them, I know Gail was excited to hear about Mike Mulligan and the Steam Shovel, which is a book from 1939.
I know this book.
But we all remember it from childhood. My kids adored that story. We get to read about Mike Mulligan again. So the program uses books that really caught the kids' interests and it captured their hearts. They were intrigued by the books, both the nonfiction and fiction stories. It really offered the teacher very easily manageable lessons and very short and engaging for the kids. I didn't have kids getting frustrated or confused. Everything just made sense for them.
We're seeing in the upper L components, every day that we do a writing lesson, there's a reading component. So we are analyzing mentor texts as writers, which is giving our kids a more clear, consistent entrance and equity into the writing process. There are much better visuals for that process than there are in our current tool. And our students push back a little bit because that is tricky. We certainly upped the rigor and the high level of expectation for them as writers. But I can say after completing multiple essays, I'm seeing some wonderful results. On the reading side of things, we're seeing texts that are shorter and more appropriate in length. We had many grade levels report that it was difficult to analyze their reading for the day when they spent 25 out of the 30 minutes in the lesson just trying to get through the chapters that were required in a day. And we certainly don't want to only read without analyzing what we're reading. We're also given many opportunities for students to write during reading lessons with rigorous critical thinking prompts. Again, they may say it's pretty tricky, but I think we're seeing great progress. And it's making their thinking evident and making it public, which we love to see, especially in our science training that we get. So we're also seeing that the topics are very high interest and engaging. The amount of reading done each day is much more consistent, kind of more like a news article rather than just chapter upon chapter upon chapter that's hard to engage students in.
In K first and second grade, when we piloted the foundational skills program, we found that though it was greatly improved from what we had previously, we had a lot of teachers who were not satisfied with it. We have a number of teachers in Vicksburg who've been using a program called UFly. It's from the University of Florida Literacy Institute, which is a very science of reading based foundational skills program. And so we kind of had a second meeting and said, well, let's do the IMED on this as well. And while we compared the two programs, we found that the UFly program is definitely going to be more bang for our buck. It's a very, very rigorous, short bursts of information for the kids, a lot of opportunities to respond for the kids, very graduated and just very intensive for the kids. And it's going to give us that foundational piece that we're missing. The teachers who've been using that so far have seen great results with their kids. So rather than going with the foundational program through the magnetic portfolio, we're opting to go with the UFly for the foundational program for kindergarten, first grade, and second grade.
So after we made the decision as the curriculum review team to move forward with a pilot next year with all K-5 teaching staff, we were given an amazing opportunity on our most recent half-day, May 3rd, to come together in our grade level bands and explore this resource with the teachers who maybe had heard a little bit about it through the grapevine, but really hadn't had a hands-on opportunity to explore it. We cannot thank everyone involved in that decision enough for how valuable that time was to walk through sample lessons, alleviate any concerns, look at pacing, and just really get the resource in the hands of our colleagues.
It was also wonderful just to be so involved in this process and really have our opinions valued and listened to.
We can't say enough wonderful things about how Vicksburg conducts curriculum review with the people who will be teaching it. I think we're a notable standard for the area, and we really thank you and commend everyone involved very much. What questions? Yeah, we need to applaud that. What questions do you have for us?
Well, one of the criticisms I've heard about, things come in and out of fashion in education, and one of the criticisms I've read was that we have less of the kids reading on their own for fun because we've been so technical about teaching analysis and things, and just the joy of picking up a book. Do you feel like that there's room for that let's just giggle?
Oh, room and space to breathe is a wonderful way to explain the pacing that we've seen so far. We do have to remember that when you enter into a pilot in third marking period, we worked with Magnetic to kind of plop us into a place that seemed to best suit our needs, but it may not be exactly where we'd be at that time next year. But we found moments for that. And we found moments to build that prior knowledge on a topic maybe students didn't know a lot about. And joy. I was a little nervous because one of the third grade topics for writing is the history of phones. And I thought, oh boy, I don't want to read 24 of those. But the kids were truly joyful to look at that, to engage with that topic. And a happy kid is a kid who's learning, right? Mm-hmm. So I would absolutely agree that space that we're seeing leads to happy kids with time to read.
Yeah, 100%. Books are in kids' hands.
Gail, I just wondered if you could speak to the process here, because you had to identify people to involve, and then you have a time frame for implementation, but I didn't see I want a sense of how much time involvement, because it sounds like there was a lot. When did you start the process, and when did you complete that whole process?
We started meeting during the 22-23 school year to look at, knowing that our program was not going to be supported anymore by the company. Rather than starting by analyzing what we were using, we really made a list of what were our desires, what we want from a great program, what we know a great program has for us, what was our priorities. And then moved on from there. Gail did a lot of work over the summer, weeding out which programs were a possibility, which ones were researched and would meet our needs. And then we got to get hands-on with the short list.
And it's amazing what you may think looks pretty interesting from across the room, and then you find it's just not a resource that would bring in a level of excellence we would expect for Vicksburg students.
The prettiest, shiniest programs are not always the best.
Right.
So this was a year-long process for all three of these, pretty much? I mean, give or take?
Typically 2 years, so
Wow.
you go through multiple phases. phases 1 and 2 are done in the first year, and then depending on how phases 1 and 2 fall out. So you can either just fine tune, supplement, or major overhaul. And in these 3 cases, they were all major overhauls. So years 1 and 2, like I said, phase 1 is where you're looking at what is expected of us from a federal, a state, and a local perspective. And so we do design, and we have the opportunity, we get the wand out, and we say, what, if we could design the perfect BK program, the perfect math intervention program, the perfect elementary ELA, what would it look like? What would we see teachers doing? What would we see students doing? What would we see them learning? What would technology, what would family engagement, what would assessments? So there's all these things that we look at, and we say, if we could design the very best programming and instructional resource for our students, what would it look like? And so we build that, and so then we have that all laid out in terms of standards and expectations, and then we say, okay, how are we doing here in Vicksburg Community Schools with what we have? And so we compare what we're doing with what we want to have and what we think we should have, and then that's how we determine, do we just need to fine tune what we're doing, which is what we actually did with our Eureka Math program a couple years ago. When we went through the process, the program was doing fine, our results were fine, so we looked at how do we make the assessments more student-friendly, was one of the areas that we refined the assessments, added white space, took out some of the multiple choice, just to give the kids an opportunity to actually show mastery on the standards. And so that one didn't go through the whole process. It's phase 3 of that one was working on those assessments. But in the case of these 3, we were major overhauls, so that's where we start bringing in new resources for our team to look at. Now, it may result in keeping that same resource, but at least we've looked at other ones to know, is this the very best for our students in Vicksburg? And so the IMET process that you've heard them refer to is from Achieve the Core. It's Instructional Materials Evaluation Tool. And so there are, the first part is a screener that is a non-negotiable. So all of the resources have to go through these non-negotiables. If they don't pass that, then you don't continue. And so we did at the elementary 5 resources with ELA and kicked out 3 of them pretty quickly. Like they said, sometimes the presentation, the publishers make them look really, really pretty, and they're like, ooh, ah. I think we had some of that with the BK too. Like, how fun would it be? Only to find out that, not so good instructionally. So we whittle it down, usually try to get down to no more than 2 to do the full screener on. And then pilot and go from there.
Thank you, because, we really have to rely on, do we have a process in place? And it sounds like it's very rigorous. And the people, and looking at the people involved gives me a lot of confidence of, like you say, where the people where the rubber hits the road are making decisions about that. And so I really appreciate the amount of time. The cynical part of me was thinking this might be like 2 pharmaceutical reps coming and telling you why their drug is the best.
They try.
And you get curriculum reps in and let me buy you lunch and tell you why my book's better than his book. And to know that there's a much, I shouldn't tell secrets about my previous profession, but to know that you're identifying what do we want rather than who's got the shiniest penny out there, and to know the time and investment, and then to know people that I really respect as teachers being involved gives me a lot of confidence about what you're doing.
And the district's commitment to having subs for that many people to come, I think we would be more susceptible to those pitfalls of what someone wants to make us think a program does if we didn't have all of those voices in the room. Because we know BKK up to 5, 5th grade, those are very different things we need to think about. And, no one grade was looking to speak for another. And so to have all of those voices and all of that experience in the room together multiple times over this year and a half or so has been amazing.
The support continues because we have at least a 2-year implementation plan that supports the teachers through the implementation of the new resource. So also, huge thank you and kudos make it happen for these teachers to be able to come out of the classrooms. So they do all kinds of magic there in their building to make sure the classes are covered and their students don't lose that instruction time. Thank you.
Well, thank you all.
Thank
I want to just, again, give a huge thank you. It takes courage to get up here and speak. It takes, courage and time to go through this process. So if we can just give everyone just.
We're not that scary. Thank you. Okay, do we have anybody in the audience that wishes to address the board on a non-agenda item? Okay, hearing none, we'll go on to board action required. First item we have before us is approval of following board meeting minutes. First meeting date April 8th, 2024, regular board meeting minutes, and then April 30th, 2024, special meeting minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Carol, supported by Ron. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, approval of general fund invoices totaling $473,136.57.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
supported by Dave. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron? Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Item C, approval of purchase card disbursements for March 2024 totaling $120,533.66.
So moved.
Moved by Carol,
Support.
supported by Stephanie. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron? Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Item D, approval to set June 10th, 2024 for the annual public hearing to consider the district's proposal for the 24-25 budget. Now,
So
this-
moved with enthusiasm.
Okay, moved by Dave, supported by Stephanie. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, approval of resolution to ratify the sale of 2024 building and site bonds, Series 3, general obligation, unlimited tax to USB Financial Services Incorporated.
So moved.
Moved by Tina, supported by Ron. Discussion. Stephanie?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron? Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Item F, approval of the dairy bid for Cedar Crest Farms in the amount of $97,869 for the 24-25 school year. Moved by Ron,
Support.
supported by Tina. Discussion. Stephanie?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron? Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Approval of resolution for local district vote on the K-RESA General Fund budget for the 24-25 school year. Moved by
Support.
Stephanie, supported by Dave. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron? Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And I will abstain because of my connection with K-RESA. Motion approves. Approval for Vicksburg High School Senate field trip to Cedar Point on May 31st, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Stephanie, supported by
second it.
Carol.
Yep.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item I, first reading approval for following curriculum proposals. It will take proposal 1, 2, and 3 together with the board's permission.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
supported by Stephanie. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron? Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. J, approval of retirement of middle school teacher Donna Cubbage with 23 years of service to Vicksburg schools. Moved by Ron?
Thank you for Donna for her many years of
Yes.
teaching here.
And that was supported by Tina. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all.